Michelle, it took a little while for NPCA to get to the point where they issued the statement that they did yesterday in the call to end the $100 surcharge for international visitors. Why? What led to that?
Yeah, well, we're asking the Secretary to pause the rollout of the international fees, and the reason for that is that we're seeing a lot of confusion and chaos for park staff and visitors across the country. So the rollout's been a bit clunky, and that's causing confusion and delays at park gates, and ultimately it's also causing some visitors not to visit the parks.
Now, I've talked to people in gateway communities, at least in Gardner and West Yellowstone, and they don't seem to be, they seem to be okay and don't seem to be seeing some of those same problems here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think here in Yellowstone, we're not seeing those problems right now. It's still the off season, so yeah, we aren't seeing delays here at Yellowstone. Fundamentally, we agree that our national parks need more funding in order to meet the mission of the parks, to protect these incredible places, and to ensure that visitors have the best possible experience. So while we don't disagree that increasing fees for international visitors could be a really good thing for parks, where we disagree is that it's been rushed, it's clunky, and it's really unclear about how they're implementing the policy across the country.
Yeah, I was on the website yesterday, and if you go to the Park Service website, passes, you cannot buy an international pass there. You have to buy it through recreation.gov, but they don't have a link to that. So you have to kind of just discover it on your own.
Yeah, and so that's causing some delays and some confusion. And we know that the park staff are already under a lot of pressure to do more with less right now. And so we're asking for them to pause this right now until they work out some of those kinks for the staff and for the visitors. And, fundamentally also national parks are for everyone, and we want to make sure that visitors understand what the policies are and make sure that they work for all visitors.
And just go back to what you said, that fundamentally you don't disagree with getting more funding for parks. Do you think that if they can work out the logistics, work out how this works, that it is okay?
Yeah, like I said, we agree we need more consistent and reliable funding for our national parks. What we're asking for is for them to work out the kinks, to assure that the process is clear and transparent. We'd also like to see transparency where the funding is going, so that we have the assurances that it's going back in to support the people and the parks where the fees are collected. I think that delays in park lines are okay, that's going to happen, but as long as people have a clear understanding of what the process is and where the fees are going.
All right. When I spoke to Cam back around Christmas time, he said that 80% of those fees were going to stay in the park. I haven't been able to verify that anywhere. Do you have any information on that?
That's part of what we're asking for right now, is that more transparency how the funds are being distributed back into the parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I did see mentioned in the release about lines at parks and not exactly. Let me back up a little bit. That the people at the gates don't necessarily know how to verify identity, whether a person's a citizen or not. Have you heard about that?
We aren't seeing any delays here in Yellowstone right now. We are hearing that people are worried about having the correct identification at the park gates and whether or not they can enter the parks, and that's a concern.
And are you worried for the upcoming summer season then?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that we know that the lines are going to get long during the summer season, so if we can pause this right now and work out the kinks before that time, that'd be great.